Reaching the star, 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 reaching the star,
For those of you tuning in for the first time, I'm Erica, and for those of you returning, welcome back. Greg and I raise and breed Cane Corsos, French Bulldogs, Great Pyrenees, goats, chickens, ducks, and rabbits, all on our homestead property. We are proud homesteaders and preppers building a life and legacy of self-sufficiency. Don't forget, you can find us on our second YouTube channel called 12TK Behind the Scenes on Instagram, Facebook, and now we're even on TikTok. So when we're away, you can always find our updates. But before we continue, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. It really helps our channel grow, and it will allow us time to make even more of these videos. You got it? Oh. Well. Oh, really? Oh, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. I really need to take a moment to thank all of you. We're fast approaching 40,000 subscribers, and we think that's absolutely fantastic. Our goal for the end of the year is to reach at least 50,000, and at our current pace, we really believe we can hit it. I also want to give a special thank you and shout out to our most engaged followers. You guys support us by commenting and liking our posts consistently, and you guys even check in with me outside of YouTube. I love it that I get to chat with you about my world of Corsos, Frenchie, and livestock because, quite frankly, I don't chat about these things with my coworkers or anyone else. You guys are actually my outlet for this. And honestly, your engagement is really what keeps me motivated. So again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if I've missed anyone on the list, please charge it to my head and not my heart. Many of you know that we have a lot of things to do on the homestead and at our new store from sunup till the wee hours of the night. Lately, we've been encountering several uninvited guests, as you just saw in the beginning. They come in several shapes and sizes like mice, deer, and other creatures, including the Karen kind. Spend another day with us on the homestead, and be sure to stick around so you can find out just how intrusive these critters have become. So this morning, we're starting out with a pack walk with some of our Lady Titans. We've had to be literally on guard because the deer population has exploded in our area, and they have no fear of the dogs. They will literally hang out by the pond right next to the house and walk around without any concern for their safety. It's really driving the dogs at the house and at the village crazy. You can see that when the girls are out, we allow them to run and play freely. But now it's like they're on a mission to seek out the deer as soon as we let them outside. We've had to put training collars on a couple of them because they have chased the deer past our line of sight. I mean, they really have it out for the deer. I can't really blame them because it's like the deer are taunting them in their faces half the time, but it's just getting too dangerous. On one side of our property, there are several dry streams and crevices that the dogs could fall into. On the other side of the property is our pasture, which is now overgrown with about 7-foot tall grass. It's like the perfect habitat for field mice and the snakes that prey on them. And neither one of us are about to run into that pasture after any one of these dogs should they see a deer. It's just not going to happen.
Seriously? Ew, nasty.
And the only other area aside from the village and the central area we're in now that they can play without us being too concerned is the 17 acres of walnut orchard that we have, which is basically a hike up the hill. But honestly, given the weather these days, we try to avoid long hikes with the Corsos to prevent any overheating issues. So we only have the very early mornings and possibly the early evenings to just get out and play and romp around. This is just ridiculous. Had to put the dogs up. I know. Oh, where'd he go? Is that a buck? I know, calm down. Y'all take too many liberties, dear. He's going anywhere. He's right there. Like I don't see him. They're going nuts. What the hell is this? I mean, come on. Is this one of these murder hornets or something? I can't even get into the Ranger. Really? This is not a bee. It's not a wasp. I don't know what the hell it is. But if you know, let me know. In the meantime, I've got to get my katana out and go to battle. Okay, so I make it to the goat paddock where our does reside, and lo and behold, our good frenemy Charlotte is back with a whole new deluxe apartment in the sky. Would you actually believe that we received 2 messages from folks who were angry that I knocked down the previous spider web with a broom? Basically, I wrongfully killed the spider and that I was disturbing nature. Now, I'm not absolutely certain that this is the same spider from before, but you can clearly see in the prior video that the spider actually ran away. I did not kill it. Let's go back to the videotape. You know, enough of this nonsense. Sorry, but this is way too big. Ugh. Okay, stop the tape. Do you see that spider at the bottom of the screen? It's obviously scurrying away for its life. Now, do I actually care what an alleged Karen says to us? Of course not. But clearly, text message Karen was more of an uninvited guest than this here spider. But it only gets worse as the day goes on. Move along, go somewhere else. Ugh, Jesus Christ. Hi, Thelma. Thelma, let me boop your nose. Boopy, 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 boop, boop, boop. Why didn't you guys get this ugly spider? No, we don't do spiders. We do just about everything else, but not spiders. We're out of here. I'd like to get out, but the goats are in the way. Sorry, we got 2 others we can rely on, Thelma. They suck. So remember that mouse at the beginning? They are yet another set of uninvited guests taking liberties on our homestead and not even paying rent. Okay, here's the evidence. See all these black pellets? Those are mice droppings. Right, Doug? Hell yeah! We see them all the time. We be like, whoa, they moved in. Then we be like, we don't give a damn because we're goats. What do we do? Anywho, all of this is mice droppings. All of this nonsense here. And I've cleaned that up 2 days ago. So what's today? Yeah, 2 days ago I cleaned it up. So that means they come out at night. Now I'm actually scared to come out here when it's dusk because as soon as I walk through the door, there's mice running all over the place. I might just try to do that later. But usually I'm ducking and diving. I've gotten to the point where I arm myself. Look at this. All right, here's perfect example. They go into the trough of the goats and pull out the peanuts. The goats cannot come up here, so who's pulling the peanuts up here and storing them? Mice. They grab them, come up here, eat them, and then probably go into the loft. I'm not about to go up there. So we're getting some barn cats and we're getting a bunch of traps and some rodent baits. We're gonna commit a whole rodenticide. That's actually a word, rodenticide. Enjoy. And just when I thought it was safe to go into the rabbit house, I mean, it is the early morning, this happens. Oh, I see you. I see you. Uh-huh. I got you trapped. Oh my God, it's 2 of them. Oh. Oh, where are you going? Oh, Lord. Ah! Get out of here, mouse. Oh, my God. Where are you going? What the hell? Woo! He's parkouring. Oh, those rats chewed through my dirty rat. That one. Taste my meatballs. Taste my meatballs. If you've been following our YouTube short videos recently, you may have learned that Dolce delivered her pups just last week. These are Dolce's and Farouk's new babies. Interesting side note, Dolce gave birth on the very last day I calculated her to whelp. I was just about to get concerned when she started to whelp during a torrential downpour. I mean, it was really bad outside. Either she was a bit overdue or she ovulated a few days later than her last breeding, which is the most likely scenario. So, YouTube family, I need your help again. I'm thinking the litter theme should be based on the weather or something related to the water. My top 3 ideas are 1, weather gods, 2, maybe hurricanes, or 3, naval ships. But do not suggest the Titanic. What do you think of these 3? And what are your own suggestions? But again, the theme must be based on the water element. Leave your thoughts and comments in the description below.
Hey everybody, I'm Dr. James Golden, back here at TwelveTitansKennels Farm. Just got done doing a new puppy litter exam. We also did some tail dots and declaw removals. I'm also available for any further services if you would like to use me as your personal vet. You can reach me at flexvetatl@gmail.com. Once again, that is flexvetatl@gmail.com. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys have a good day and hear from you soon.
I'm leaving.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, was the coup de grace for a complete and utter crappy day full of unwanted and certainly uninvited guests. Well, I can't even twist my lips up to call her a guest, but I will refer to her as a Karen henceforth. So what do they say? What had happened was, as they say, what had happened was, Greg and I decided to run some errands. It was a little later in the day than we normally go out. And on our way to the feed store, in this particular part of our journey, we often passed by Wasabi's, our store. Many of you know that we have a store that we're currently renovating. It's been several months, in fact, almost a year since we actually acquired the store and when we decided that we would start renovations. And it's been delayed or it's gone slow, so it's not something that has happened quickly. We're just inching along. Admittedly, we're inching along. And so when you pass by the store, we always kind of look over and just take a look to make sure things are going well. And then obviously on the weekends, this will happen on a Friday. On the weekend, we will go into the store and continue to work or clean or whatever, meet a contractor, whatever. But this particular moment, we were just going past the store. And as we were looking over, normally how we look over and go, there's our store, yippee. We almost thought that we had passed our store already. In fact, because nothing looked right. Everything seemed out of place. What we saw in the parking lot, there's a parking lot in front of the store, was a setup. It was a lot of tables out, a lot of wardrobes full of clothing, a big sign out. It looked like a flea market, actually. It looked like someone was having a garage sale or basically a flea market or, when you would put your stuff out and sell it. And so we were driving when we saw this and we looked at each other and I think Greg hit his foot on the brake like, was that the store? I'm like, I think it was. And in the middle of the road, we hook a U-ey, come back around, and, in his zest to get back around, he did kind of pull up into the parking lot with a little bit of zest, with a little bit of zeal. So it was like, with this huge, big black Jeep pulling up. Now, mind you, we are, oh boy, we look like straight up farmers because, nobody was trying to get dressed up to go to the feed store. So we probably, admittedly, look like hired hands. And, we were trying to be calm, but the first question was when we got out of the car was, hey, can you tell us what you're doing here? And I do apologize. Some things I was recording, some things I didn't, but because this thing could blow up even bigger, I'm going to hold on and not show certain pieces because I don't want that publicly broadcast. So I'll show bits and pieces as we go along, but I won't show the entire confrontation. Because, by the way, there actually was an officer in the car next to in the restaurant right next to our store. But anyway, I'll get to that in a second. So when we pull up, of course, we get out and like, hey, what are you doing? And we probably look like hired hands or maybe there to do the lawn, even though we're pulling up into in this big black Jeep, right? But I'm sure we look like Cliff and Claire Huxtable in hired hand clothes getting out of a big black Jeep. So it's probably very weird to people, but for her. And we asked her, what's she doing there? And she's like, who are you? And, I'm setting up my stuff. And we were like, well, you can't do this. This is our property. You have to leave. And she's like, what are you talking about? I can do this. And she's literally telling us what she can do on our property. And I said, but she was like, this place is vacant. Like, no, it's not technically vacant, or we don't have any tenants in it. Yes. Because I believe she actually remembered it because it was like a little strip mall where there were multiple residents, a beauty salon store as well as a thrift store. But those residents have been gone, or those tenants have been gone for some time. And we said, no, this is our property now. And she just wasn't hearing that. She said she has every right to be there, and she just gets louder and louder. And by this time, we did notice that there was an officer next door, and she's like, well, you need to call the owner. And we're looking at each other. Greg and I are looking at each other. So he pulls out his phone. He starts dialing it, and my phone rings, and I'm like, hello? He's like, owner? And I'm like, yes. It was like, there's somebody in your parking lot. Do you want her there? And I'm like, no, actually, tell her to go away. So the lady is irate. And so she was really very disrespectful to us. And I think she thought maybe we worked there. And then she started talking about, well, she has a permit. And we're like, you don't have a permit. We would know. You can't just set up. This is private property. This is not somewhere you can just go and set up. And then after the permit, she went from a permit to it's vacant and she can set up anywhere. Like, and it's not owned, like the property isn't owned. And we were explaining to her that no piece of property that you see is not owned. Anything you see, anything and everything you see is always owned. It may not be owned privately. It may be owned by the bank. It may be owned by the county or some other local government, but there is nothing out here that you can just say is unowned by anyone that you can go stick a flag in and say, hey, this is mine, because nobody else is owning it. It was just the most ridiculous thing she was saying. So as I'm speaking with her, arguing with her, and it never got to the point where a shouting match, but she was very, very disrespectful and, pretty much brushing me off. He goes, gets the keys and starts opening it up. And at that point, that's when you can see the light bulb go off in her head. And she goes, oh, well, I didn't know. And are you looking to rent out your space? And we're like, we went from she could be there all she wants to this place was vacant, that she had a permit to, now are we looking for tenants? Basically saying that, she didn't believe who we were, which I don't know that she should have, but the way we were explaining to her that we own this property, this is ours, and she could care less what we were saying until we brought the keys out, her whole attitude changed. Now, by that point, the officer was making his way. He was already in his vehicle. He was already making his way over to us. And I think that it was a good thing that Greg had already gone into the store and that, she had come to that recognition, because prior to then, I'm sure she would have said something to the officer that, hey, we're harassing her. We just came out of the street and just started, harassing her. But at that point, the light was, the light bulb had gone off for her. and clearly she realized that the error of her ways. Well, anyway, I won't go into much more because, you know, we did have to do a bit of a statement and so forth, and we may be seeking some other things, but the officer decided that, you know, we would settle this, and he went off back to the other side of the diner next to us while she packed her things up. Now, the rest of this is us in Wasabi's waiting and watching while her and her daughter started putting things up. And we're just sitting there fuming and commenting. And I had to bleep some of it out or just get rid of some of the audio because I wasn't using very nice words. And I don't think it's necessarily appropriate to put all of what I was saying out here on YouTube. But I was hot. I was firecracker hot. That's how hot I was because, you know, in retrospect and after looking at some of what we recorded, you know, she's telling us that it went from, again, that she was just putting things out because for charity and that, you know, people could stop by and just get things. I'm like, you could just take your stuff to Goodwill. You don't have to set up shop. And who does that? Set up an entire boutique? I mean, this woman had wardrobes of clothing and so forth. So anyway, this is just us fuming. We never had any kind of experience like this, so it was just, we were taken aback. But, you know, a little bit of us were like, you know, hey, if you want to scrap, let's do this. We don't want it to come to this, but you dare not come on the property that we worked so hard to do to just completely disrespect us. I mean, at the end of the day, take your crap, pack it up, and find somewhere else to sell your wares. And so, yes, Karen, you are canceled, and you were probably the biggest annoyance and uninvited guest and intruder to our livelihoods in our store. And so you gotta go, along with the mice and the deer and the murder hornet and whatever else. You gotta go because you're canceled. This is where the therapeutic value of living on a homestead and having multiple Cane Corsos, French bulldogs, and a host of other livestock really comes into play. So we're going to end here. I'm going to take a quick look and show you how Ginger and her babies are doing. And we do have a couple of pups available for reservation. If you're interested, just send us an email and we'll get back to you.
You can be big, you can be little, you can be big, you can be a schnitzel, you can be stoned, you can be a beetle, but I'm the only one that is belly button whistle. Wash it all day, wash it all night. Scrub, 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 sub, scrub. Wash it all day, wash it all night. Scrub, 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 subscribe. You can be fresh, you can be a pickle, you can be petrol, you can be a diesel, you can be a Cheeto, you can be a Pringle, but I'm the only one that is belly button whistles.
Thank you again for tuning in and following us on our journey. If you appreciated the video, leave us a like. Feel free to share your respectful thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell. And as always, we'll see you in the next video.
Thank you.